What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Well, we got good news and bad news, and usually the way I like to do is I like to do the bad news first. So let's go with the bad news. So you've seen the other video of me in the doctor's office where I'm sitting there with like my shoulders rolled over like this, talking about this injury that I had to my shoulder. And the doctor was a little camera shy. I asked her, I said, can you go on camera and say, let me fix this fucking camera angle, and just do the diagnosis on camera? And she was like, she's really camera shy. So I said, okay, I'll just make a follow-up to it. At that point, I just wanted to get out of the doctor's office and give him medication to start healing. So the diagnosis of my shoulder was either severe tendonitis or rotator cuff tear and bicep tendon tear. Now, I have to get an MRI done, which will tell me, for a fact if it's torn, how much it's torn. She ran all the tests, and I think it's kind of funny because sometimes I'll try to diagnose myself, and I'll be at home and I'll go through, because now we got online. You go online and you start going through all these things. This is not the first time I've diagnosed myself when I went in there and was like, hey, bro. Hey, buddy. And the doctor's like, yeah, I agree with you. They just kind of laugh at it because they're like, so how did you figure this out? And I said, well, I went online. I started taking all the symptoms, and I discarded the ones that I didn't have. And when they finally matched up to the final one, this is what I figured it was. And I did that with bronchitis before. I even diagnosed what medication I needed. I needed Levaquin because it was so far gone. It was almost pneumonia. Excuse me. So, it's not good to diagnose yourself, but it's pretty funny when it works out that that's what happened. So that's the case. It's a torn rotator cuff. I'm out of the gym for 2 to 4 weeks. They started me on a heavy dose of prednisone, which, I've never been on it before, but I know it can wreak havoc on the body. It's a catabolic steroid. It's a burst. It's a 12-day burst instead of a 8 to 10-day or whatever. And I'm on another meloxicam, I think is the other one. It's NSAID. It's kind of like a high-powered Advil, anti-inflammatory, pain reliever. Something interesting that I'll share with you guys is I was in so much pain, and I mean so much pain. I've never felt. I've had whiplash. I've threw my back out. Hey, buddy. I've torn other muscles. What's going on? I've done all kinds of things to myself and been able to not take any painkillers. And this is the first time where I said, I don't give a fuck about my addiction. I want a fucking painkiller. We almost actually went to the ER one night. Tuesday night, we were actually, bro, what are you doing? You're licking your foot. What a weirdo. So we almost went to the ER Tuesday night. I made an appointment with my chiropractor for Wednesday. I said, I'm not going. I'm going to the ER tonight. And I told Kari, I said, I don't even give a fuck if they offer me Oxycontin. I'm fucking taking it. I don't even care. Like, that's how bad the pain was. And when it came down to brass tacks in the office, I'm sitting there, and Kari actually went in with me because she's interested in, how what the tests were going to be to check my shoulder. And I looked at the lady. She said, did you take anything for the pain? I said, I took aspirin. Didn't work. I took Advil. Didn't even cut the pain. I said, and I can't. It was a split second. I said, I cannot have any kind of opiate at all. And she just went, oh, okay. And I looked at Kari. In that split second, I knew my addiction actually talked to me. This is the first time that it actually talked to me with 2 people in the room. And Kari, I knew I could manipulate because she saw me in so much pain. And the doctor would be easy to manipulate because of the fact that, I have a legitimate injury. And your addiction pops right up and goes, this is the chance we've been waiting for. This is what we want, a legit source of painkillers. You really need them, so let's get them because you really, it's talking to you. You have to literally take that and go, fuck you. I'm going to just deal with this pain no matter how long it takes, whatever it is. I'm not giving in. I'm not going to manipulate Kari. I'm not going to manipulate the doctor. I'm not going to manipulate the world around me. I'm going to fucking deal with my situation. And it was very, very hard to do. And I walked out of there and I felt like, I was like, shit, I very well could have relapsed right there on that spot. It's a scary thing. And this is the exact moment that my therapist told me about. He said, in the future, if you fall off a roof and you fucking break your back, you can never have another painkiller. How do you feel about that? And at the time, I was like, fucking, who cares? I'm not worried about it. No big deal. But this is the first time I was in so much pain, that I was like, holy shit, maybe I should take it. In my brain as a normal person, I'm like, maybe I should. And then when you figure out the addiction's over there talking to you at the same time, you have to go, the fuck? Yeah, I need it, but what the fuck is wrong with you telling me? You kind of have this internal struggle that goes back and forth. So I'm happy to say that I didn't give into it. Even though I could have gotten them, I didn't get the painkillers, and everything is okay. So that is the bad news. Out 2 to 4 weeks, so we'll see what happens. No training. I'll still do legs and abs, which she said is okay. So I've really develop legs and abs, and the rest of me will get skinny because I don't fucking know. But we'll see what happens. Now, the good news is I have a couple announcements. cool announcements. Cool things are coming up, and we're, kind of ending 2014 now. And I remember telling Kari, I said, I don't know how 2014 is going to beat 2013. 2013 was so good. We had such a great year that, so far 2014 has blown 2013 out of the water. So the first one is, you guys have heard me talk about it. I mentioned it a few times, and people go, what the hell is it? Geared Up Radio. Okay, it's actually a podcast, a radio show podcast that we do once a week. Well, not we, because I am now one of the co-hosts of it, along with Adam McVeigh and David Johnston. It's a forum on Facebook also. They have like a closed Facebook page. But Geared Up Radio is a bodybuilding radio show. As you can tell by the title, Geared Up. We talk about gear. We talk about it openly. We talk about it as in-depth as we possibly can. But here's the kicker. It's not just me, Adam, and David talking on the radio. We interview some of the biggest names. They've had Ronnie Coleman on there. I just, when I came to the show, we just interviewed Linda Murray, and she even talked about it a little bit. We talked to Don Long. Don Long, he was very open about it. Jojo Neforo. We've talked to, who is this week? Neil Hill. Flex Lewis's trainer. We talked to him. And we get to interview these people, and, most of them so far have been very forthcoming with talking about anabolics. Plain and simple. Sometimes they don't go into specifics on who people are and, what they took, but other people do. They go into specifics about what they took and what they think is good and what they think is not. So it's a very interesting platform that, you want this interesting information, whether you take the things or not. People want to know about it. And, when I first thought about it, I was like, they had one of their, Chris Kinkinger, one of their co-hosts leave, and they said, we're looking for a third one. And they mentioned it in the group, but I said, okay, let me throw my name in the hat because, you guys do this on this day, and I have that time on that day to do it. I can shut everything down for that couple of hours to do it. And it's another way, well, not another way, a way to start talking to some of these biggest names in the whole entire business, knowing, like, we send them the questions first. They know going into this what they're going to be asked, and they agree to it. So they know that they're going to openly talk about this stuff that everybody wants to know. I mean, everybody. So it's not just like me, Boston Lloyd, Rich Piana. These are some big names in the industry that are kind of letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak. So I'm super excited about that. You can see, if you go to, just look up Geared Up Radio in Google. It'll pop right up. You can go to the links from there. There's a whole bunch of podcasts you can go to, download them, listen to them right on the site. Very cool stuff and very in-depth. The one with Neil Hill is super interesting from this week, which we talk about Flex Lewis, about him going to the open class, about some of his genetic traits. We talk about, we do talk about drugs. We actually talk about drugs, what Neil has done in the past himself, what he thinks a common or a safe stack is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here that's legit from these guys, and they're very forthcoming, and we're very fortunate to have them come on the shows and talk about it. So that's the first announcement. Go check out Geared Up Radio. Second announcement is I have been asked to add content to Isatori's website. Now, I'm not a paid athlete. I'm not a sponsored athlete. They have a website that they run that has interviews and different kind of articles and stuff on it. And they're looking to branch out into now putting more different kind of media on there. One of the media is videos. Well, who makes a lot of videos? Me. So they contacted me and said, here's the situation. Like, some of your videos and stuff that, are on your channel, some of the people that read our thing and watch our thing never even know that you exist. So is there certain topics that we can have you discuss, that we can take the videos and put them on our website, which first of all gives us something different for our website that's, something new and progressive, and at the same time may lead traffic back to BioS3. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? First of all, I love Isatori, plain and simple. Stephen Adelaide is a good friend of mine. Second of all, I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I know for a fact not everybody does watch BioS3, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't compete and don't do bodybuilding or not in the industry that don't watch it, but they'll look up certain things like coconut oil. I have a coconut oil that fucking gets hundreds of thousands of hits, but none of our competitors are in the fitness industry, but they still want that information about coconut oil. So I figured, okay, that's a really good fit right there. Let's start doing that. So I'll be adding content very soon or filming videos to add content to that. And one more thing to add. When I announced this thing, I announced it's almost finished. My website, the BS3 Underground, is almost finished. We are working on adding the content as we speak. The BS3 Underground, to explain what it is, well, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too much, but it's a new website. It's going to have what I had on my blog, but it's an actual website. It's interactive. We're going to have a store that sells the t-shirts, so you don't have to email me anymore. It's very easy to get them. But it's going to have a member section. And in that member section, I can guarantee you will be something that is different than anywhere on the internet. It'll be so straightforward, so in-depth, and so different about performance enhancing. Things that I can't say here, things that I can't say other places. This is mine. I host it. What content I put on there goes, and I'm the only one that can censor myself, which I'm not going to do. So when that thing finally hits, I'll announce that, but that's the big project that I've been working on lately. That it's a lot harder to put together a website with certain things than you would think. I mean, I thought, hey, I just call someone up, they make me a website, and a half hour later I'll have it up and running. But apparently to do this thing the right way, it's not like that. So the website will be up and running soon. I'll make an announcement when that comes up. But for now, I still can't do the Bios3 bicep because I can't actually get my shoulder. Let's see if you know what? I've been taking the prednisone. Let me see if I can get the bios3training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is a blog, and I'm Bios3, and I approve this message, and we're out.